Okay, so today we're gonna upgrade this Steam Deck to 32 gigs of RAM. Here. Shutting on Steam. And she's off. Well, first thing I want to do is remove the SD card, because when you won't need that. Also, before opening the Steam Deck, I would appreciate taking a look at the RAM chips. These are the RAM chips. They are supposed to just work. They're the Samsung ones. There's faster ones that are Hynix, but they're well, allegedly faster. I don't know. Judging by what we know, they should be faster. In terms of timings, but these should still do 6400 and okay timings. I don't know though. Oh, neat, they're bold already. Okay, this is gonna be easy peasy. I thought these were not gonna be bold. Yeah, that saves a lot of trouble. Well, that doesn't mean that I won't have to re-bold them, but you know, the fact that they're already bold is gonna save a lot of my trouble. They don't seem to be bold with 045. It seems to be 040 or 035. I wouldn't know. They also don't seem super perfect, but that's good enough. I think they've been done with the stencil, to be honest. Okay. Let's take apart the Steam Deck then. I thought I was gonna stay, like, the main thing with rebuilding isn't that it's particularly hard or difficult. I mean, I've done over 1,000 volts for MacBook, so that's not the problem. It's just that it takes time, especially because I don't have stencils, so, and that's kind of a choice, because stencils are a pain to clean. I need a screwdriver. That isn't dog shit. I think this is gonna be the best I'm gonna get. It's too small. Oh god, no, this is disgusting. I would appreciate a screwdriver that isn't too small for the job, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. This one. Also, I wanted to also upgrade the Wi-Fi, but I completely forgot. Okay. What I wanted. Obviously, make sure your SD card is out before doing this. Oh. Okay. Back cover came off. this comes apart, really. I assume these are the next screws that have to come out. Of course, probably gonna have to remove the cooling off of Steam Deck. Yeah. No big deal though. Just make sure you have thermal paste, which I mean, if you're doing this kind of thing, come on now, you have thermal paste. This is the SSD, which I'm gonna remove, especially because I don't want it to get too warm. This goes. Okay. Always close back your connectors, otherwise you may cause damage, and you really don't want to do that. Okay. Time to remove the rest of the cooling assembly. Of course, remembering that this different screw goes on the single one. Oh, okay, it's impossible to remove. Good. That's a good thing, because it means you can't lose it. Okay, let's remove these. Oh no. Maybe don't do that. I will get the screws. Don't worry. No worries. Let's move the fan. Okay. Other thing that probably isn't that important, but is still heavily recommended by me. Please remove your thermal compound before warming up the area of the motherboard. Why do I say that? Because you don't want it caked on your CPU. So, let's get this out of the way. I'll do it like that so that the screen doesn't get scratched. Good. Now, this is the Steam Deck motherboard. Probably want to remove this too, because it's gonna get real warm. And the last thing I want is for this garbage to melt on my good motherboard. Okay. Now, since I don't want any particles there, I'm not gonna use a Q-tip or a tissue, and I'm gonna use actual cloth to remove the thermal paste. All of this is in order to I wonder how flat these dies are, because it doesn't look very the removal of the thermal paste. Might just be because there under there is the GPU part or whatever. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I mean, if I had a die shot, maybe. Don't really care to that extent, though. Thermal paste was kinda hard, not gonna lie. Surprises me considering this is somewhat new. Also, this is the bad alcohol. I'm using it to clean the thermal paste because doesn't really matter for that. When you'll see me actually clean up flux, you need decent alcohol there. Now, as you can see, this used to be a micro motherboard, which means I need to swap around the position of one of the strap resistors, which I'm gonna have to look up. And yeah. I guess here goes nothing. Of course, let's make sure that this is tightened. Flux isn't really necessary to remove chips, but I would rather use it than not on something I absolutely don't want to rip the traces on. It's cheap and you can clean it if you have proper alcohol. I guess the real problem is you're gonna have to clean this, but you're gonna have to do that regardless when you are removing the old walls. You're gonna be doing this anyway. Also, this flux in particular is super hard. It might be because it's super cold here, but this flux is super duper hard. I've had other fluxes and they were a bit more runny, so it was easier to do this kind of thing. Also, hopefully I have some Epton tapes. If not, I will just show you another technique to avoid burning connectors like that one, which is kinda annoying there. That is not heavy enough. Something heavier. Something heavier and metal. I mean, this will do. Yes, that's a piece of a motherboard. It broke. Don't blame me. Don't look at me. No, I actually didn't break it. I bought it broken on eBay because I needed a motherboard for other parts. Also, yeah, to remove chips, you want high airflow. And in my case, I want high temperatures too, because... Also, let's note that the two dots are in this direction and in this direction. Okay. This board seems not very heavy at all, which is a good thing. Hold on. Okay. Make sure to turn on your iron so you have to wait less to clean up the pads, meaning the board will be warmer since the board is heavy. Okay. Now, hopefully this warms up soon. This board is super light. I didn't expect this. Oh my god. This is way easier than I expected. Okay. Now we are adding new leaded solder to the VGA. We are doing this because old solder is not leaded, and we want to have the VGA pretty much flat. Okay. Now we are adding in more flux. If you want, you can clean your one. I don't usually bother until I clean off the pads. Then I do. Because of course I do. I'm gonna cut off the used up thing, especially on something as expensive. Yeah, solid brick is cheap. So don't be shy. Same with flux. I think the board is just slightly too thick. To be easily doable without a printer. You can definitely do it. Just use more surface area on your soldering iron, and some parts of it will be painful. Yeah. I'm doing this with no fancy equipment, everything you could just avoid and do at home. Of course, shittier your equipment is, the more practice you will need. I've been practicing to do this kind of work for years. This is not gonna be your first job. Like, no. Not even your first VGA job. First, I learned to solder small VGAs with balls already on them. Then I learned to rebuild and how to solder on bigger chips. This is not something you can do just to upgrade your Steam Deck or your friend's Steam Deck. You need to have a bigger passion to be doing this kind of work. Also, you're gonna you need a bunch of garbage to try this kind of work before doing it on anything this valuable or more valuable. So it's a bit harder to do this kind of thing because the PCB is so heavy that you would really want a preheater for this. I can deal without it, but like, yeah, it's really suboptimal. So if you're gonna do this, don't be me. Use a preheater, buy one. Thing is, a preheater is pretty fucking expensive. Then again, Steam Decks too. So also here, making sure to clean up all the junk and the visual flux. You really don't want that. Okay. I'm gonna give the board a warm up because I need to do a second pass on some of the pads because I want to make sure that it's as flat as possible. Okay, so as I expected, the dots on the motherboard do indeed line up, which means I was about to mess up earlier. And it also means that you can just follow the dots on how to mount RAM. Thankfully, since this isn't really a this isn't really a rebuilding job because I had to ball 0 ICs. It's gonna be way easier, especially because there's no alignment guides for aligning the ICs, which on things like MacBooks don't really exist. Also, you'll see me probably solder 2 ICs at the time. Actually, maybe I'll just do 1 at a time. Nah, I'll do 2 at a time. And that's because I'm doing this without a printer and on a pretty fucking horrible, disgusting air. The final one is align. Okay. To finish it off, since to stick the chips on, you don't want too much flux, otherwise they'll start jumping up. Like the boiling flux will make them jump up, which is bad. What you want to do, if you want to be 100% sure that they're attached well, is just add a bunch of flux. You can do that. Okay, give it a little bump, that way you're sure. Once it's all melted, you give it a little bump and it goes back into its place. When it's done that means all the balls are in the right place. Obviously, don't bump it too hard, because otherwise you'll just fuck it up. But once they all go back into their plates, they're all attached. So, now we wait for it to cool down. Make sure all the dots align, and they're aligned. And now, for the moment of truth, in a bit. Just move that, we don't need that. Don't wait too much on the flux. You don't want it at room temperature, because otherwise removing the flux is gonna be a nightmare. But don't wait too little, or else you'll just have to rebuild your IC that you just soldered on, because it's gonna move. Now, this is front. Don't really care about that. Sticker back. This is sticker. I'm gonna put it back on because I assume, and mind you, my assumption is gonna be possibly wrong, that this is to avoid shorts, which is why I'm putting it back on. Okay. I'm sure there's a easier way to do this. Come on now. Okay. Mm. Okay. I don't know what is exactly needed to boot the thing up. I know the Wi-Fi card isn't needed. I assume the heatsink is probably not required but heavily recommended. I can probably turn it on, and if it shuts off again, then you know that it just overheated. If it turns on at all, it's probably fine, but I'm not gonna play the risky game, so I'm just gonna put the heatsink back on. I'm gonna use MX6 because that's what I have right now. I thought I had better paste, but I don't because it's dry. So this is gonna have to do. I put way too much in there, but I'm pasting like an overclocker because I don't want to open this thing ever again. Might be a nightmare to clean next time, but who cares? Put the screw there back on before screwing in the heatsink because I don't want to have problems putting that screw back in place. I'm not gonna screw in everything, and I'm not gonna tighten screws all the way until I know for sure it works. I just want something in there. I want it to make contact with the die. I don't want it to be super tight yet, especially because I mean. I'm gonna try again. The charger stuff. Okay, made sounds. Don't know if it's gonna work because the strapping resistor is in the wrong spot. It's trying. Yep, here you go.